Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to discuss about software testing interview questions part 3. The question is differences between severity and priority. Severity is used to define the seriousness of the defect on the application build. The priority is used to decide the order in which the defects need to be fixed. Severity is driven by the standards of the functionality. Priority is driven by the business value of the application. Severity is set by the tester while reporting the bugs. Although a tester can set the priority, the developer or manager can finalize based on scenario. Different levels of severity are crash, blocker, critical, major, moderate, medium, minor, or low, etc. The different levels of priority are high, medium, and low. The next question, what do you mean by cyclomatic complexity? Cyclomatic complexity is used to measure the number of linearly independent paths that we have for a module. It is used to determine the stability and level of confidence on the module. Cyclomatic complexity can be calculated by the flow control graphs or flow charts of the modules. The cyclomatic complexity can be calculated by using the mathematical equation are as follows. Cyclomatic complexity equal to E minus N plus 2. E means edge and N means node. The next question, what are the different levels of software testing? What different levels of testing will be performed by the tester? The different levels of the testing available in software testing are as follows. The first one is unit testing, second one is integration testing, the third one is system testing, the fourth one is UAT. Tester will perform system testing. The next question, what are stand-ups? Stand-ups, it is 10 or 15-minute time-boxed event or meeting that is held within the Scrum team to synchronize the work done and to plan for the next day. In stand-up meeting, every team member have to answer three questions. First one is what did I do? Second one is what will I do? And the third one is do I see any impediments that prevents me for going further? Stand-up calls, also called daily scrum meetings. The next question is difference between product backlog sheet and sprint backlog sheet. Product backlog sheet is a document that contains the list of all the functionalities that we have to develop by the end of the product development. It contains all the user stories of the customer, enhancements needs to be added, or performance improvements, etc., that are not currently in the build. Sprint backlog sheet. Sprint backlog sheet is a document that contains only the list of specific functionalities that needs to be developed in the current iteration or sprint. Generally, sprint backlog sheet is prepared from the product backlog items. The next question, difference between BVA and ECP. BVA stands for Boundary Value Analysis. It is a test design technique used to test the boundaries of the functionality. BVA helps us to test the extreme limits of the functionality. In BVA, we will find the lower and upper boundaries and test both the boundaries with the conditions like n-1, n and n plus 1, where n represents our boundary. ECP stands for Equivalence Class Partitioning, also called as equivalence partitioning, is also a test design testing technique which is used to divide the given data condition into valid and invalid classes and ranges and to test the functionality with one value from each valid and invalid class in order to reduce the time for testing. What do you mean by data-driven testing? Data-driven testing is a software testing method that we use to test the functionality with different sets of data in same test case. The test data and expected results required to test the functionality will be stored in the Excel or CSV files. Every time we execute the test case, a different set of data will be copied from the Excel file and store the result in the same file. Data-driven testing is a automation testing method or technique. Next question, how much testing is sufficient on an application? The answer is testing is never-ending process and completely testing an application is not possible at all. In order to decide how much testing is sufficient for application, we have to consider some factors. We have to thoroughly tested all functionalities of the application with respect to the customer's expectations. Next, there should be any major bugs in the application. We have to complete all the code reviews, static, unit, integration, and UI level scenarios. Next, we have to verify all the functional and non-functional scenarios. Next, are we confident with the current state of the application? Next question, what is test plan? What are the different contents of test plan? Test plan is a project level document that defines the scope of testing approach to follow and the schedule for testing the application and identifies the test items for the testing process along with the person responsible for testing. In simple words, test plan is a document that answers the basic questions like what to test, how to test, where to test, who will test, when to test, and why to test the application. The purpose of the test plan is set to the expectations and align the team for success throughout the testing process. It is the first thing that we will be doing in STLC. Some of the contents of test plan document are as follows. Features to be tested, test environment, features not to be tested, entry and exit criteria, scope and objective risk, and mitigation plans, test approach roles and responsibilities. Next, test deliverables. Next question, what are the differences between client server and web applications? Client server application that runs on the client system, that is user computer and access the remote server for information is called as client server application. An application that runs entirely on the web browser is called as web application or web app. The user interaction with the server is done using client-side application or user interface. The user interaction with the web application is done always by using a browser. Client-server applications are platform-dependent based on the programming languages used to develop the application. Web application is a platform-independent as it requires only a browser to access the application in any operating system. Client-server applications are considered as a two-tier application. Web applications are considered as a three-tier application. Client-server application supports less number of users. A web application supports more number of users. Security risk will be less as it has less user base. Security risk will be more as it can be used by a very large number of users. Thank you.